than Shedeur.
Right.
As far as the games they won. But Shedeur had better stats in college than Eli did. And Shedeur's wide receivers were, I think Colorado got some of the most highly regarded receivers in the NFL.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Please like the video and subscribe. Our target is only 1,000 likes. So Shedeur Sanders suffered one of the most dramatic NFL draft slides of any top quarterback prospect in recent history. Sanders, who was projected by some to be the #1 overall pick in this year's draft after the college football season, fell completely out of the first round and remains undrafted going into day 2. The former University of Colorado star admitted that he and his family did not expect what occurred on Thursday night in footage posted by his brother Deion Sanders Jr. Still, the quarterback appears to be keeping a positive attitude and expects to be drafted on Friday. 2 other quarterbacks were taken in the first round while Shedeur waited to hear his name called. The Tennessee Titans took former Miami quarterback Cam Ward with the first overall pick, and the New York Giants traded back into the first round at number 25 to take quarterback Jackson Dart.
And it's not like you won a national championship even in college. It's not like, you know what I mean? It's not like they were a top 5 college team. But even before he gets to the NFL, he's dictating where he wants to play, who he won't play for, what the conditions should be, when he plays.
Oh.
He had a lot to say. Well, at least his dad did anyway.
Like Archie Manning.
He did too.
Well, like Archie Manning did, but remember, Eli in college was different than Shedeur.
Right.
As far as the games they won. But Shedeur had better stats in college than Eli did. And Shedeur's wide receivers were, I think Colorado got some of the most highly regarded receivers in the NFL draft. So there's that. So there's
the most highly.
And then just total number also of drafts, wide receiver drafts. So that says something for Shedeur. So I still, after you run through all of that information, I still land on the NFL was trying to humble Shedeur and his dad. I still land there.
What do you mean the NFL was? They all spoke and were like, hey, we're going to not draft him?
I feel like there was collusion, 1,000%. Now, allegedly, and this came out last week, his pre-draft interviews were, quote, atrocious, terrible.
Ooh.
And that was from an unnamed, anonymous source. Now, does that mean he showed up in the room and had a bad attitude and was giving one-word answers and was just super entitled? It could possibly mean that. And if Shedeur did show up like that, where you're trying, because once again, you haven't done anything at the professional level. And let me tell you something, when you show up to an organization of any kind and there's highly accomplished individuals, professionals even, and you show up for the interview and you think that you have more coming to you than the people who have already put in a bunch of work because
whatever,
you're hot on the gram or hot coming out of somewhere, I'm gonna hit the button on you.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
You do. When you show up to these jobs to work alongside individuals who have been doing it for a long period of time, wherever you're going. And I'm not saying this is what they said. Shedeur had a bad pre-draft interview. So I'm taking that at face value. That could be a complete lie. But if you do show up to these places, there is some humility at play here, man. You may feel like you're better and more valued than everybody that's already been there, but you haven't done anything yet. So you do need to be humble.
Well, he supposedly was not. Those interviews supposedly did not go well. And the quotes that I heard from him that I played on my show in the afternoon, every single one I played had my face in my hand. Every one.
This is who you're talking audio of Shedeur.
Yes, every audio clip I played of him talking leading up to the draft had me face palming.
Well,
because, elaborate, please.
Why wouldn't I change a team? Of course I'm going to change a team overnight. It's what I do. This is already what I do. I'm like, well, what do you mean, what do? You didn't win a championship. The best you got was a team's 9-4 with your dad as coach. And the best and the most dynamic wide receiver we've seen in years. And he was just acted as if, like, of course, it was a foregone conclusion he was going to be the best thing since sliced bread.
Well, and so once again, that goes back to people alluding to collusion because people saying this guy is his attitude, as you pointed out, the things that he said ahead of time, they collectively, clearly move together.
But why does it have to be together? If I heard it and I'm just sitting at a radio station without anything to do with it, and I heard it went, woof, this isn't ideal. Does that require collusion, or people just hearing someone talk and going, oof, I'm not into it? Not to mention, when I watched him play, I was never blown away by him. So, I mean, like, I certainly thought he'd get drafted, but if you watch this
you thought it would be higher than fifth.
Oh,
fifth
my
round.
God, for sure. I thought first round. I thought second round, for sure. I thought someone who wanted a quarterback would be like, hey, we're going to give him a shot and see if he could be the guy. For sure, that's what I thought. But I will also say, like, when I see who the Giants went back and drafted, Jackson Dart, if you watch his highlight tape, you will see a guy that looks more like an NFL quarterback on tape, just on tape, I'm no expert, than Shedeur does.
Well,
I thought
got
Shedeur was
news
very
for you.
statuesque and didn't have a big arm.
If Colin Kaepernick couldn't prove collusion, Shedeur won't be able to either. So there's that. We can all make allegations all day.
I think overall, if somebody could go in the top 5 picks and they end up in the 5th round, clearly something happened. Even I want to throw another thing on the table. We've been talking all the last 2 years about how good Shedeur is and how him and Tom Brady was like this. So now when it comes down to Vegas and Vegas doesn't pick him, then you got to wonder what's really going on here. Is this because if this is a protege and this is somebody you've been training or been helping out, well, I don't know exactly what that relationship is like. But when you think somebody have tentacles connected to this person and been working with this person that much, if he comes available and you're now a new owner, wouldn't you kind of put those two together? Because now this is a person you've been working on. So it's a lot of red flags and questionable behavior. And I just thought that it was just a slight at Shedeur, and I definitely didn't like it. I didn't even like the trolling. I didn't like that. I don't believe like certain people control certain people, especially it shouldn't be no white people trolling black people. Just period. Just that don't work.
Yeah, I'll say this, like I said, it's one thing, you're a month and a half ago, this is the projected top 3 pick, top 5 pick. Then the weeks get closer and closer and closer. It was from a 3 to a 9 to a 21 for Pittsburgh. Then he'll go late in the first. Then the second round coming. The second round don't come. Then the third round coming. And fourth. Now it's like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Because now it doesn't seem. This is what I'm talking about. Same thing happened with T.O. To me personally, the NFL is not basing shit off talent. If you're basing on talent, you're not going to say it was 142, 143 niggas better than the nigga. Period. This was personal. I think that Deion says some things like he didn't want his son to go to a few different teams, and them niggas all talk like, who is Deion to say X, Y, Z, etc. But when Archie Manning did it, when Eli Manning, it was all good. When Archie Manning said, who's Eli and Peyton's father, not Archie Manning that plays in Texas. Archie Manning, who plays in Texas, grandfather name is Archie, just to be clear to the audience. Archie Manning Sr., which I would say is Eli Peyton's father. And when Eli came to the NFL, he said Eli will not play for no West Coast teams. And he didn't. He ended up going to the Giants, but he basically said that. And Deion kind of said something similar, not to that effect, but they was like, oh, you're not the Manning family. You're the Sanders. And we're going to teach you guys a lesson because, listen, after Shedeur ended up going to Cleveland, it seemed like, okay, cool. I bet. Because a bunch of other Colorado players started getting picked, not just picked after the draft was over, signing deals. Like shout out to Shiloh as well, end up signing with Tampa Bay. And then you had other teams with North Carolina. It's like 6 players from Colorado that ended up either getting drafted in the 6th round or doing deals after the draft was over. That's what it seemed like. All right, cool. We get niggas now? I bet. Because if that's the case, why you ain't picked Shiloh earlier if you needed the defensive back? Like, to me, the whole shit was rigged and it looked rigged. It was a fucked up weekend, man. It was fucked up. But listen, he's with a team. He got a chance to go show and prove, and we'll see what happens in Cleveland. He might not even stay in Cleveland. Cleveland has 5 quarterbacks. What Cleveland does have is some good leverage for a team that needs a quarterback. And I'm not saying they would get rid of Shedeur, but they have some pieces that when it gets closer to the season and the team don't have a definitive quarterback, they got 5 quarterbacks that they can make some deals for.
How much money do you think Shedeur lost with slipping the 5th round?
A lot. A whole lot.
About 30, or would you say 30 or 40?
About 40.
Wow.